We stopped by the Reverb booth here at PAX East 2013 to learn a little bit more about Sanctum 2 from Coffee Stain Games. We've caught up with the lead designer here, and who better to ask what's new in the sequel. Obviously, when a sequel comes out, you want to be bigger, better in every possible way. Can you tell us a little bit how that process was and where you found your inspiration?
Well, basically, what we did when we started working on Sanctum 2 was that we went through the community, like we checked through the forums, we checked through the Facebook to just gather feedback from what people had said about the first one and wanted to add or improve in the second one. So by doing that, we got like a big pile of things that we could add and would make the game a lot better.
So you had a pretty unique thing with Sanctum, the first game. What was it about that resonated with gamers, in your opinion?
I think it's resonated well with gamers because, like in traditional tower defense games, you spend your time building, and then when the enemies come, you just sit there and watch, right? So we give them an opportunity to actually jump in and like wreak havoc and get their hands a bit dirty, I think.
It's kind of interesting because a game that also took the tower defense genre and did something completely different was Dungeon Defenders. They're also here with their sequel, and so are you, but you're doing it, of course, in totally different ways. But it's interesting how the whole tower defense genre is sort of evolving.
Yeah, I actually love it because I'm a hardcore tower defense fan, you could say. Spent a lot of time playing custom maps for Warcraft 3. Just a lot of tower defense games, and it's so fun to see how, like you said, how different companies take different approaches to the tower defense. Like Dungeon Defenders have gone all out RPG and stats and gear and stuff, while we try to take it more to an action-oriented, more intense, where you're like in the frame. Basically we try to get the whole Twitch action going.
But you are adding a little bit of progression, a little bit of sort of that sense of sort of building your character. Could you detail that in any way?
Yeah, something that a lot of people playing Sanctum 1 got overwhelmed by was that, like, when you started, you had everything. So you got into the game and then you were expected to select like a bunch of towers when you have no idea what the game is about. So to help with that, we added a progression system where when the player plays through the campaign, they will level up and unlock new towers and new perks and new weapons. Yeah. So
you mentioned there the characters. You're adding a few new characters as well. Can you tell us a little bit about them and what they add?
Sky Autumn, which is the main character in the first one, will of course be returning. There will be her sister, Sweet, she's an explosive expert, and she's actually, judging from feedback when we posted the artwork on our Facebook, people seem to love her a lot. The third one is Simo, which is a big robot sniper, basically, who can get really dangerous because he gets a damage boost every time he hits a weak spot, so he can get really, really crazy. And the last character is Hygen, which is he's a close combat brawler. Like, he brandishes the shotgun, and basically the closer he is, the more damage he deals. There's actually a funny thing about him because we actually had a lot of problems naming him because all the names seem to not fit as good. So what we did was we found our the greatest fan we had for Sanctum 1, and just, okay, well, let's name this guy after our biggest fan. It felt appropriate. Yeah.
That's a major shout out right there. These new characters, I mean, just from like a casual glance at it, they seem, that sounds like it's going to change how you play the game quite a lot.
Yeah. The characters, they are very different from each other. Like, we discussed this thoroughly, and we did not really want the characters to be just a different skin. So we have like differences like Hygen, who he deals more damage up close, but he also has a lot more HP compared to Sky, who like she's a bit sadistic, so she gets a small damage boost every time she hurts an enemy, and she's way more mobile because she can double jump and stuff like that.
So the first game was quite a success on Steam. Lots of people bought it. How has the studio, Coffee Stain, how have you changed since the first game?
The start of the first game was, it's a very special story. Like, it started as a school project, and when we transitioned into a company, we basically sat on like cardboard boxes. We took, from the lead graphics artist, we took all the chairs from his kitchen and just sat on these improvised tables and just crunched. Now we actually have like actual offices with stuff that belongs to the company. So we have grown quite a bit. We're also, I think the team size is almost doubled compared to the first one.
And you're bringing it out summer, says on the banner right there.
Yeah.
Where are you at in development, and what's left to sort of tweak and balance for you guys?
Right now we're mostly working on like optimizing and adding settings like field of view slider and key bindings, making sure there are no critical bugs, and trying just to polish it up and make it work on all systems.
Thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you.